Hi guys, not long time no see. It was a long time since I have filmed a little clip, but I was very busy, too busy to take my camera and shoot a little clip for you guys. I'm very sorry, it was very busy at work. Yeah, I'm combining 2 blogs and work and a family life, so yeah, sometimes it's getting a little bit crowded and some things can go, and this time it was the wrap-up of September and the to be read of September, but it's not gone, let's say. So we're October now, or October has passed, we're November now, and yeah, I decided to still do the wrap-up of September, because I'm going to combine the wrap-up of September with the wrap-up of October, and I'm going to show you what I'm going to try to read in November. I have some leave coming up, so hopefully I'm able to read a little bit more. And yeah, let's just see what I have read. Let's start in September. In September I have read 18 books. Yes, 18 books. I was surprised that I was able to read so much when I was still that busy. But when I'm traveling to and from work, that's around 40 minutes, that's 1.5 hours more or less a day, that I can read. I'm not able to write my blog stuff or film my blog stuff, but I can read. So I read quite a bit. And let's start at the beginning of the month, and I started the month of September with Cress. Cress is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles series, and I took that book, I put it on top of my to be read pile, because winter is coming out. Winter is coming out in November, and I've already pre-ordered it and I want to read it as quickly as possible. So I had to read Cress, and yes, now I did. So I did it in September, very beginning of September. And of course there's another book in that series that I hadn't read, and that's Ferris. And Ferris is like a simple add-on, let's say, and it's the story told from the side from Levana, the evil queen in this story. So I was really intrigued by this story. I still hate her, but I can understand her. Then I read a book of Lemony Snicket. I read the first book, it's The Bad Beginning of the Lemony Snicket series, and I also read the second one, The Reptile Room. Then I also listened to an audiobook. I have discovered Script then that month, and I've listened to the audiobook of Amy Poehler, I think you say it, from Amy Poehler. It's her book Yes Please. Then I read a very short book that I had received from Library Thing to test out, and it was a book of Amy Harrop, and it was Leave the Job Behind, Easy Ways to Profit in Today's Digital Economy. Now, I'm a blogger for 3 years already. Yeah, my book blog is only 3 months old, but I also have a beauty blog, and that one is already there for 3 years, and I know quite a bit of it already. And I have to be honest, most of it I knew already, but I liked reading it. I love learning new things, and some things were new. Then I read another book. Yeah, I have read a lot of books that I have received by Library Things, so maybe not that known, but it's good to get to know new books. So I will certainly say which ones have surprised me and are really good, so you should read. The next book that I read was this one of Library Thing, is the King of the Bastards from Brian Keene. This book is very gruesome, so I really liked reading it, but I was not used to the gruesomeness of the book. It's a very descriptive book, so you have to keep in mind that it's that way. So it's gruesome and descriptive, so you can paint the picture in your head very clearly, and that's going to happen if you read this book. The next book I hated. I really loathed this book. I have never had a book that I loathed this much. I really hate it, and I would say don't listen to it. I have listened to it in an audiobook. It's a very short one. I think it's only 30-40 minutes long, but I hate it. And it's a book of Mary Langston, The Unknown Comic Collection, Journey Through the Unknown, and the joke book for people who think the Kardashians are a joke. And why do I hate this book? It's just a book. They just throw some jokes out there and they hope some of them stick. It's not built up very good. It's spiteful. It's not beautifully written. I can love books that joke with some people, but this one was wrongly done. It was done in a very, very, very wrong way in my eyes. So I would say don't ever read it. And you can see my passion in here, that I really hate it, because otherwise I wouldn't say don't. So sorry, but that's my opinion. You can like it, but I hate it. Then I read another book that I received from Library Things, and it's The Girl with Two Names from Jared O'Neill. I like this one. I gave it 4 stars. I liked it. It's good. It's not the best one that I have read, but it's a good book. And yeah, I would just read it. And then I read a book also from Library Things, but it's like, in Dutch we would say a stationsromannetje. It's love. It's simple. It's lovey-dovey. It's not complex. You don't have to expect a very depthful telling story. That's not the case. It's just a quick read. It's a fun. Excuse me. It's a fun read, but it's not very complex. I liked it. Then I read a comic book, The Sculptor. But what I have realized is that maybe I'm not the best person to read comic books. I don't know why, but they don't seem to interest me that much. I try, but it doesn't work. I have read the other series. I forgot the name. Lumberjanes. I didn't really like it. This one I liked more, but it's like a book that is hyped very much on BookTube, so I have the feeling that something is wrong with me, that I didn't love it. I liked it, but I didn't love it. The Sculptor from Scott McCloud. Then I also went shopping and I bought a trilogy. I bought the Chemical Garden trilogy and I read the first book, namely Wither. Then of course the Scorch Trial movie was coming out. I still haven't seen it. I was planning to, but I still haven't seen it. I'm very mad at myself, but it was just too busy to go to the cinema and go watch it. But it was the Scorch Trial. So I read the book and now I still have to watch the movie. And I hate myself for not have seen it yet. I'm going to. Then I also read Mental Combat, the sports psychology, secrets you can use to dominate any event. I thought this was going to be a book that I was really able to use in real life, and I liked reading it, but I didn't really learn from it, let's say. I couldn't see how I could apply the things that were in this book to my real life. Maybe I can in the future, but at the moment I don't see the usefulness of this book yet. Then I read a Flamsy book, let's say, and I read B and Kendra from Kendra Wilkinson. Kendra Wilkinson is one of the Playboy Mansion girlfriends of Hugh Hefner. They had the series The Girl Next Door. It was a fun, guilty pleasure. She writes better than I expected. Oh no, not she, her ghostwriter. Of course, she didn't write it, but I liked reading it. Then I've read Dominions from James A. Burton. This was apparently the second book in a series. I didn't know that. So in the beginning it was kind of a struggle to get through it. But once I knew that it was a sequel, I was able to understand stuff more. Or knowing that I missed some stuff. And I liked it, but it was not a very must-read book. It is a book. Read it when you have it, you will like it, but it's not a must read for me. Then I have 2 books left in September. I've also read The Shadow of the Moon. I have a little bit the same feelings for this one. This book is a book of K.D. Baker. It's the 4th book in a series. It's a very short one. I think it was around 100 pages. I liked it, but it's not a must read for me. So if you have it, read it. If you don't hurry to the bookstore. You don't need to read it, but you can read it. It's a lovely read. And then a book that I also received from library things, but this one you should read. I loved it. There is a review already on my blog, a written review, so go there if you want to see it. But it's a good book. It's a book and it tells a story of a situation. I think it's in the future where people can be mended by robot parts, but if you're mended too much with robot parts, you're a freak. Otherwise, you're a good person, and it's wonderful. I think it's a possibility that in the future we'll have robotic parts to keep on going. It's already happening. Go read it. Go now. No, wait till the movie. Wait till this clip is done. But then go and get it. You will love it, I think. Then of course we still have the month of October. In October I also have read not 2, not 3, but 18 books. Short ones, of course, because I was that busy. But I read 18 books. It seems quite a bit. But you will see, it's not that much. First of all, I read the Christmas Craft Bundle of Barb Asselin. This was very quick because it's a do-it-yourself book. You can make some ornaments for Christmas and stuff. So I went through it and I saw if there was stuff that I would like to do. Then I read a book of Lacey Edward. I read quite a bit of books of Lacey Edward in October. First one I read was Love Bites. Then I also read, let's scroll down to see him, Sabine of the Remembering Raven collection, Allegra of the Remembering Raven collection, Nanette of the Remembering Raven collection, and Juliana of the Remembering Raven collection. So quite a bit of books. They're just simple. You can read them quickly and you like them, I think. Then I read also Hollywood Homicides, Famous Celebrity Murders in Tinseltown by Riley Lucas. Yeah, I liked this book, but I liked the fact that they described the murders. They also put in big biographies of the celebrities, let's say. I wasn't that interested in those. So yeah, I was not skipping them, but I had a feeling that I should skip them. So that's a down point for me. Then from Barb Asselin, I also read another bundle. This is a Make Money Online Business bundle. Basically it's more about Kindle and Amazon and ways to make money. That's not really handy for me. Then another one that I have received by Library. Of course all those in front of this were also from Library. Let's be honest, it's Library. But this one I received also from Library. It's from Kate Avery Allison and it's A Season of Lightning. And this one I expected a silly love story. I really did, but it was not. It was a good, written, well created world and story. It was about slavery, it was about war, it was a little bit about love, but it was mostly about slavery. And I love books that are able to show you how people think. Oh, they're not slaves, they're not slaves. We just pay for them, but they're not slaves, and they have to work, but they have a good life because we feed them. We only feed them to less. So it's good to read that, I think. And I really loved reading it, I have to be honest. I loved it. So for me this is a must read. When you can get it, go get it. You really like it. Then I also read Air of Fire. Of course I needed to read Air of Fire because the next book is out and I wasn't done yet with the first 3. So yeah, now I've read Air of Fire and the next one is on my Kindle. So I hope to read it as quickly as possible. But at the moment, I'm still not starting. I'm a little bit busy at the moment and I have a few books that are more on top of the to be read pile than that one. So, then I also read The Seas of Wither, and this one I gave it 1 out of 5 on Goodreads, and there's only one simple reason for that. It looked like an extra book on the series, but it's like the first 6 chapters of the first book. They have repeated, it's like the first 2 chapters of the next book, and then there's a little story of 10 pages in between that's extra. So I really didn't like that. Then I read another book that I got from Library, The Devil's Fool from Rachel McClellan. I love reading it, it's not a must read. Same for Cyber Genius, it's better than the previous one. Cyber Genius from Patricia Rice. It was cool to see how one company can bring down the whole world. And more than that I won't say. You have to read it if you want to know more, but it's a good book. It's a very realistic book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Then I have read 2 books of Sharon Clave. Sharon Clave, the books are very short. I think she produces them then herself. I'm not sure of that. And I read 4 Weddings and a Fiasco, The Wedding Switch. So this is part of a series. I read The Wedding Switch and Sunset Nights. A little bit in the same category as Lacey Edwards. It's a simple, quick read, fun to do in between. It's short, it's not very complex. It's not, in Belgium I would say, a hoogstaand. It's good. I liked reading them. Next I read Caught in the Glow. For me it's also a little bit in that trend line. It's not complex, it's simple, it's quick, it's not a must read. Caught in the Glow of Eva Chase. Then a book that I really liked, and that's from Tariq Salem, and it's 2100 AD, A Slight Pretense, and it's in the future, and America doesn't exist anymore, Europe doesn't exist anymore, Australia doesn't exist anymore, Africa doesn't exist anymore. There's just one big territory, and the sub-territories are ordered according to the inhabitants of that territory, and then there are subsections and stuff like that. I really liked reading it, and I really liked to see how people were living in this thing and how they are like sheeps led by just the government. I don't want to say too much because otherwise I will tell you the plot if I'm not careful, but it's a good book. You won't expect stuff that's going to happen. I'm really apparently there's a sequel, so I really want to read the sequel, but it's a good one. I liked it. And then I have one more book left, and is Ashley Scheller, The Wilder Diaries. In the middle I had a little bit an issue to get through it. I don't know why, but I kept reading and it fixed itself. But honestly, there's going to be a sequel. I don't know if I'm like jumping for joy to read it. I don't know. I don't think so. But I will read it, I think, if it's coming out. But it will not be the highest thing on my priority list, I think. So these were the books that I've read in September and October. So let's see what I'm going to read in November. Because in November we have a lot of books that have to be read. The first one is The Bone Season. I've started this one already. I think I have like a 4th done. And I have other books as well that I want to read. Of course, the ones that I'm also already starting. The one that I also want to read is Fever. This is the second book of the Chemical Romance trilogy. The one that we already talked about. And Disciple. Disciple is the first book out of the Book of Immortals series from Cassandra Lynn. Excuse me. Then I have a few others that I also want to read. Of course, I would like to read The Death Cure. Don't think that will happen this month, but I'm trying to. And the second book of the Nightshade series, which is Wolf's Bane. The Isle of the Lost is also one that I want to read. And then I don't know if you can see it, but I have here the books of Julie Kahawa, I say it right. The Talon and the Rogue book. This is the Talon series, I think. I would like to read those as well, but those won't happen because I have a few books of library thing that I have to take first, and that's a Masquerade of Hannah Fielding and Hench Girl of Rita Strading that I want to read as quickly as possible. So yeah, that's it. I hope you liked to see what I have read. I would like to thank you for listening and looking, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.